Part 1 Historical background of Nongklao Kingdom, over which Tirot Singh Syiem ruled. Nongklao was an illustrious Khasi kingdom that produced an immortal freedom fighter, Tirot Singh. It is located in the mid-western Khasi Hill of Meghalaya. Like the neighboring states, it's about in a picture landscape and charming scenery. It comprised, at the time of Tirot Singh, almost 100 villages. Its ancient history is shrouded in obscurity, tradition, and it dawned in the remote distant past. There lived at Nongklao a certain forgotten folk who, in course of time, was suppressed by the Khasi immigrants who came west from the Jaintia Hills. For certain reasons, these people had left their homeland and came west to Nongklao. The migration of the people from east to west is an important feature of the Khasi history. The immigrants came in batches over a period of time. During the course of their settlement, many states were formed. They came both by hill and plain, the latter being a more circuitous route in which they passed first through the North Kacha Hill and then emerged into the Naugong and Kamruk plain before finally they came up to the western hills. The former routes, on the other hand, being straight, is shorter. Since its formation, Nongklao had produced brilliant kings who managed to annex several territories to their state, both by the conquest and diplomacy. Ushajer was the first king of Nongklao, who came from the Jaintia Hills and who belongs to the Sutunga or Jaintia royal family, who had ruled the Jaintia Hills and the outlying territories in Kachar Hills and Kachar district of Assam in the east, a portion of the Naugong Plains in Assam on the north, and a large territory in present Bangladesh known as the Jaintia Parganas. He came with his sister Kashaplong. Prior to Ushajer's advent in Nongklao, the region was administered by 8 chieftains known as Lengdo. Like Shajer, they too were originally inhabitants of Jaintia Hills who forsook Sutanga and came west by the same route. Later on, Shajer came via Kachar Hills, Naugong and Kamruk Plains. Tradition says that the 8 Lengdo and other parties came that far from Sutanga in search of iron pyrites and iron smelting and good cultivable lands. They had flourishing trade and commerce with the Ahom in Assam and Bengalis in present of Bangladesh. Shajer, on leaving the hills, came to the plains and traveling westward reached Kamruk, where at Badwar at the foot of Nongklao Hills, he was compelled to fight Udon. Udon later made peace in which he promised to part away Badwar to Shajer. Subsequently, the Ahom went back on their promise. Shajer then marched up to Nongklao and sought the help of 8 Lengdos to wrest Badwar from the Ahoms. With their help, Badwar was recovered. The 8 Lengdos later combined, and by a pact they agreed to form a state with Shajer as the first Syiem. Having learned of his royal background, other villages came to join the state of the 8 Lengdos. Shajer was crowned the Syiem. His sister Kashaplong became the first Syiem son, whereas the 8 Lengdos became the mentorees. Tradition says that about 25 generations separated the first Syiem Shajer from Tirot Singh's accession. They were powerful Syims. Deputy or vice-grand Syiem were installed at other centers to govern on behalf of the paramount Syiem. The early Syiem with their mentorees were known to have taken measures for promoting trade, industry, iron smelting, and other activities besides running day-to-day administration. An early Syiem was Usintiu, who was reputed to have overrun several territories including the Nongsainhima Syiem, modern Nongpo, and Soyong. Another renowned Syiem, Wukong Tho, found field for exploit toward the south and subdued the villages of Maumlu and Sorarim. Until today, Umau Kong Tho or Kong Tho stones is still to be seen at Maumlu near Sora, which mark the limits of his exploit. Other great Siems mentioned in the annals were Lailanka I and Lailanka II, who succeeded in annexing a portion of the territory located east and south of Sora. Other Siem took interest in wresting neighboring villages close to Nongklau itself, such as Mau Maram, Pendeng Umyong, and Mairang. Udoy, Ujom, and Uram Singh are known to have annexed these territories. Stories are told to great women Siems such as Kasangkalar and Kajiam, who displayed brilliant statesmanship in keeping the state's integrity, solidarity intact. In course of time, the kingdom's frontiers were vastly extended. Mentries were elected from the respective hereditary families, just as the Siem was elected from the royal family by the special state electoral council. In case these council failed to decide upon the nomination of the Siem, the full Siemship Dorbar decided this issue. All councillor, male person and adult about 18 or 20 years of age were entitled to participate and vote at the Dorbar. Nongklau Siems are also known as Siem Khatsopra, after the 14 units joined subsequently to the state. Khatsopra, however, applied to the lower region located on the present Bangladesh border, which comprised Shela and other villages. Nongklau Siem adopted the title of Kisimli, White or Dhola Raja, to distinguish them from Kisimyong, that is Black or Kala Raja, who held away over Nongspung and other states. Tradition has it that at one time the eastern and southern parts of Nongklau were looked after by the Siem Shines, vice-regent kings, stationed at centers such as Soyong, Maumlu, Sora, and Shela. One tradition particularly recounts that most of these territories were abandoned later by Nongklau Siems because the area was too rough, and although because of the difficulties of communications, the Nongklau Siems ceded as special gifts several villages located on the south to Sora state after its inception. Two warriors of Sora named Ula and Ular Kenta subdued one Nongklau vice-regent, Siem named Ulai Lanka, whose defeat on that was cleverly exploited for the formation of Sora states. Another new entity, namely Shela, came into being. There is also a story of Nongklau vice-regent Siem who found it too difficult to administer a far-flung territory properly owing to the difficulty of communications, the barrenness of the soil, and problems of trades. This Siem named Usim Nongramai thereupon decided to give away the part of the country known as Khatar and Khatnyoshnong to the Dam Panbu of Sora as a token of deep friendship. The area, which contained Layoba, the three big markets, and Layorit, three small markets, was accordingly acceded to Sora. Bulk of this territory in the middle and eastern regions was abandoned, and only the principal trade centers such as Sorarim and the Maumlu were retained by Nongklau states. In the final arrangement, a vice-regent Siem with three mentries was placed at Maumlu, known as the great center of iron industry. One tradition has it that Tirot Singh hailed from the Maumlu royal family, which offered stiff resistance to British advent. He waged a war in 1829 in consequence of that belligerency. These regions were was wrested from Nongklao to be administered as a British area. The Nongklao Syiem abandoned Shala, which later developed into an entity known as Darship to distinguish it from Syemship. In spite of the inclusion of vast areas located on the south, Nongklao still formed an extensive kingdom starting from Badwar in Kamrup and stretching into proper Nongklao, which then aligned itself eastwardly where Sorarim was located, and then, with gaps, its southernmost boundary terminated in the present Bangladesh territory, which comprised Diwaganj and Ratobur. Tradition clearly indicates that the Nongklao Syims made over territories to new states as a gesture of goodwill and friendship. The last renowned Syiem was Konrai, who died in 1826 to precede Tirot Singh. It was during his reign that the Mamluk rebellion occurred. Mamluk was one of the principal iron smelting centers in the hills. In fact, considerable articles of iron trade passed daily from Mamluk to many places in Sarma. This rebellion seems to have taken place just on the eves of the Burmese invasions. Hein Singh, a vice-regent of Mamluk, raised the standard to rebellions with a view of severing all link with the paramount aim of Nongklao. About the circumstances of the revolt, it is said that iron merchants of the plain reported to Nongklao about the inferior grade of iron and other smithy goods which Mamluk lately supplied them, whereas by a previous pact, the high quality of these goods had been granted. The merchants complained that this was a violation of conditions stipulated in the pacts. On learning of this, Conrad issued instruction to replace such goods with better ones. Hein Singh not only defied this instruction but went further to declare Mamluk independent of Nongklao. Conrad thereupon marched to Mamluk to resume negotiation, but Hein Singh, his tormentors, and the rest of the population eluded him and refused to come out. One Mamluk mentor, however, sided with Conrad. A siege was laid against Hein Singh and his people. The village was stormed to the extent that Hein Singh at length sought to escape through one village exit along with his other royal inhabitant to another place called Lightensel. They made an uphill climb to Lightensel, but Conrad warriors gave them chase. Hein Singh was thus finally compelled to surrender. At an armistice in which headmen from several villages came to witness, Hein Singh insisted on staying at Lightensel and never going back to Mamluk. The neighboring villagers, in recognition of this unique peace treaty and as a gesture of goodwill, made over Lightensel to Hein Singh. The area has fruit, irrigation, and betel plantation. Thus, Lightensel was added to Nongklao. It should be noted that Pelup Tirot Singh, distant uncle, hailed from Lightensel, who offered a great deal of resistance to the British advent in 1829. Tradition says that Tirot Singh spent for considerable period of his childhood at Lightensel and received special training from his uncle, Kulup, and other veterans concerned with imparting education to him in many fields.